Hi everyone, welcome to the Fall Garden Series 2021. Isn't it crazy to think that we're coming up on fall again? We've been growing our vegetables together all summer long, having a great time doing it. But now it's time for a little bit of shift from warm weather vegetables to cool weather vegetables. And I've had a lot of questions lately. What is a fall garden? When do I start my fall garden? And what do I plant? So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to show you how to plant your fall garden in 2 different ways. And we are just going to jump into fall gardening. So the difference between fall gardening and summer gardening is fall is cool weather vegetables. So if you've been growing those delicious warm weather vegetables all summer, tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers, peppers, those are amazing, but those are not going to hold up to the cooler temperatures of fall. So a fall garden are vegetables that you plant that are cool weather vegetables. And those vegetables thrive in temperatures under 75 or 80 degrees. A lot of them will even take a light frost. So it's really fun to kind of make the transition from summer to fall, have some variety in your garden, and just kind of change things up a little bit. What vegetables are cool weather vegetables? Well, I cover this in more detail in my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. I list out all the cool weather vegetables, all the warm weather vegetables, but I'm going to go over a few of them with you right now. And these are all in my Fall Garden Seed Collection, a seed collection I designed with 14 cool weather vegetables specifically designed for your fall garden. And I've started them, a lot of them, right here in my little 6-pack seed cells. I've been growing them inside because here in Southern California, it's way too warm right now for cool weather vegetables. But your cool weather vegetables are things like greens, all the lettuces, the mustard greens, kale, chard, arugula, all those beautiful cool weather greens will grow beautifully in a fall garden. They also include things like broccoli, cauliflower, collard greens, peas, radishes, spinach, all those delicious cool weather vegetables. So when do you start your fall garden? Well, the first thing you want to find out is if you have a first frost date in your area. Now here in Southern California and in other southern climates like Arizona, Florida, Texas, down in the southern part of the US, you might not have a frost date, and that's okay. Wintertime and late in the fall is really the best time to grow the fall or the cool weather vegetables. So in Southern California, our prime time for cool weather vegetables is really the end of October, November, all the way through the end of February. So I usually hold off on planting my fall garden, at least when it will really thrive during those months, but I always start vegetables early so that I can show you guys how to grow them too. Now, if you're in a northern climate, you'll be getting some frost, maybe September, as early as September or even October. So check almanac.com. I'll put a link in the video description. You can enter your zip code if you're here in the US or in Canada. You can find out the average first frost date in your area. So say it's November 1st, or let's even say October 1st. What you want to do is back the time up about 6 to 8 to 10 weeks, and then start your fall seeds either indoors under grow lights, because your garden beds are probably full for the summer and it might be too hot, or you can get some fall seeds planted right outside in your garden beds. So today I'm going to show you how to amend a garden bed and plant some seeds right in your garden bed for fall. But first off, let's talk about how to start your seeds indoors if you're still too hot to plant them outdoors. So these I actually started indoors about a week ago, and it's really been fun to see the growth. They've been under grow lights, they've grown very quickly. So this right here happens to be red acre cabbage from the Fall Garden Seed Collection, a beautiful red compact variety of cabbage that grows really nicely here in Southern California. We get such hot temperatures, sometimes even in the wintertime, that it's hard to get a big, huge head of cabbage to grow. And all of these vegetables too, by the way, are container friendly. So you can plant them like in a CaliChem 5-gallon smart pots, in your larger sizes of smart pots, or in a raised bed. So here I've got some red acre cabbage, some kohlrabi. I've got a couple little trays of lettuce, of beets, radishes, spinach. I believe this is arugula, and red mustard greens. And I have tons of videos on how to start your seeds in these 6-packs. So I'll link to that down below. Now, if you don't want to purchase the 6-packs or the trays on Amazon, just look around your house. We're all about saving money here, keeping it quick, simple, and inexpensive, and find some things, some items around your house that you can get your seeds started in. So a couple of my favorites are these little plastic cups The peat pellets are really fun. These are like a 3 or 4 inch peat pellet, some sour cream containers, plastic takeout containers. Whatever containers you have that you start your seeds in though, make sure that you poke holes in the bottom for drainage. Now, one of my favorites too are egg cartons. Got some holes poked in the bottom here, and what you want to do is just fill these with potting mix. These are especially good for peas. Peas grow very fast. Kids love to get peas planted in here, and then all you have to do is just break the little individual egg cartons apart and then pop the peas right in your garden bed. They'll dissolve and add some more cardboard organic matter to the soil. So whatever you have around your house, use what you have, keep it quick, simple, and inexpensive. And you always want to use a good organic potting mix. Don't skimp on the soil, guys. You can either make your own, I've got videos on that, or one of my favorites is Good Dirt potting mix. Don't use your garden soil. It's just kind of heavy, it doesn't drain well. So now what we're gonna do is head over to a garden bed and I'll show you how to get some seeds started there. So it's always good to add some good organic matter to your soil before you plant anything new. So I'm just gonna kind of rough this up here. You can see I have drip irrigation. You can remove your drip irrigation hoses if you want, or you can just kind of plant around them. So I am just going to add a couple handfuls of compost in here. You don't have to be exact. Maybe a few inches of compost over the top of the soil. If you don't have compost, you could add some type of soil conditioner or get some bagged garden soil. And then I'm going to add in some Vermistera worm castings. Now, worm castings are a great amendment to add to your garden beds. They really aerate the soil. They add good beneficial bacteria and microbes and really help the soil life. Now I'm going to add some granular organic fertilizer. And no, this is not coffee. My organic fertilizer bag got chewed up by some mice, so I stuck it in a coffee can. It really doesn't matter what type of fertilizer, what brand of organic fertilizer you use here, but you do want to make sure it's a nice balanced fertilizer with NPK, which is the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That's nice and balanced. So we're just loosening it up. If you have any weeds, you want to take those out, or any big rocks, you can take those out as well. But if you're just removing your summer crops, most likely your soil is already nice and loose, and it just takes a little bit of amending and you are good to go. Two of my favorite types of vegetables to plant in the fall are greens and root vegetables. And I highly suggest you start with those two as they're very easy to grow. So today we're going to plant a combination of greens, red mustard greens, Grand Rapids lettuce, and also plant a couple of root vegetables, Ruby Queen beets, and some radishes. One thing that's really nice about fall gardening is the weather's a lot cooler, it's a lot more pleasant outside, the vegetables grow really nicely, and it's really important that you start your fall garden now. That way you get it established before the cold weather hits. And then once you get those early first light frosts of the fall and winter, it actually makes some of your fall vegetables that much sweeter. So here I have some of the giant red mustard greens. Just a little bit of a zip to your salads. We like them sauteed in scrambled eggs. They are a gorgeous, beautiful green. So all I'm doing here, I just got a little pinch of seeds from my hand, and I'm just sprinkling them very lightly over the soil. You really don't need to worry too much about spacing. You can thin them out as you go. And it's really fun to eat the small little thinnings in your salad. If you live in a southern climate, mustard greens do tend to be a little bit more heat tolerant than your lettuces. So this is definitely something that you could go ahead and get planted right now, even though we'll still have a few months of warm weather left. For you cool weather climate gardeners, those of you that get winter snows and hard frosts, we're going to actually plant some lettuce as well. Now this is Grand Rapids lettuce. When it sprouts, it's going to look like this. And I'm going to plant it now, even though it's still going to be hot in California, because when it does get cooler, the lettuce will be planted and ready to grow. Sprinkle down another little row of lettuce. And what I'm doing is I'm sprinkling it right along the drip irrigation hose, because we don't get much rain here. So that way the drip irrigation hose waters it in. And lettuce is so easy to plant, you guys. It needs light to germinate, or it likes light to germinate, so you don't even have to cover it with soil. You just kind of press it down. You can cover it really lightly if you're concerned about the birds picking out the seeds. Just press it down and you are good to go. Now we're going to put a couple of root vegetables along the front here. This is a really fun thing to do with your kids, is plant some radishes. Radishes go from seed to harvest in about 3 weeks to about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the variety. Radishes often will grow leaves but not bulbs when the weather is hot. So your northern gardeners will get some really nice looking radish bulbs, but you southern climate gardeners will have to wait a little bit for the best results on radishes. Now I'm going to pop in some beets, and once the beets sprout, they're going to look something like this. These are the Ruby Queen beets. Look at those beautiful red stems. Now beet seeds are really unique. They're like little pods, and inside that little pod are a number of different seeds. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I put one right here. And I'm going to space another one about 3 inches over, and I'm just pushing these down into the soil. Kind of covering up all these little seeds, cover up the radish seeds as well. So what I'm going to do now is just water the seeds in, give them a nice drink. You really don't need to give them any liquid fertilizer until they start to germinate. And you do want to keep the soil nice and moist while they're germinating especially. So you may need to check on them often, especially if your weather is still warm. You could even cover them with a piece of shade cloth if you're getting some hot weather, just to kind of protect them from the heat. And then I always like to mulch all of my plants. Got some shredded leaf mulch here. And I'm just going to put a very light layer of mulch because I don't want to inhibit the germination at all. Then I could always add another layer of mulch as they grow. But the mulch will serve a couple different purposes. It'll help with water evaporation, keep your soil moisture, keep the soil cooler if it's still hot, or if you're coming into cold temperatures, it will help keep the plants warmer in the cold. So whether you're starting from seed indoors or whether you're starting from seed directly in your garden beds, the important thing is that you just get started. You don't have to know everything about fall gardening to start. Jump in, plant a few seeds, keep it simple to start with. You can always expand your garden and add more seeds as you grow throughout the fall and the winter months. Do me a favor, you guys, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified of all of our uploads. Plenty of fall garden videos yet to come. So head over to CallieKimGardenandHome.com, grab one of my fall garden seed collections, 14 varieties in here to help you get started. And also grab a copy of my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. Lots of information in here about how to start your garden from seed or in your garden beds. And you can save $5 when you purchase the Fall Garden Seed Book Bundle. Comment below, let me know if you're going to be growing a fall garden along with me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.